The largest regional championships in Pokemon TCG history with 1,485 players just concluded, and we were left with 8 players in the top 8. This was a tournament where we saw a lot of Lugia dominate, a lot of Lugia put themselves on the map and, come back in full force and show why Lugia is the best deck in this format. Crown Zenith was legals for this format, and people thought it would kind of change some things up, but it didn't really. A lot of the Crown Zenith cards didn't really make an impact, and well, they fell flat on their face. My name is Rahul Reddy. Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the top 8 of the Orlando Regionals. If you guys enjoy content like this, recaps of every regional championship, international championship, world championship, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. I'll always do regional recaps and big tournament recaps, as well as my own experience if I went to that tournament, and a vlog if I was there. If I wasn't, you probably won't get a vlog. Well, we're going to kick off the tournament with the champions list, Andrew Hedrick. Andrew Hedrick played a very consistent Lugia list, playing, what is this image not available card? Is that Ultra Ball? But they played a Capturing Aroma. They played an Echoing Horn and a Wash Energy, which are the unique cards in their Lugia list. A lot of one-of trainers to be utilized by this Irida. Echoing Horn is a very interesting tech card, probably the most interesting tech card in here. Don't know how often they actually used it, but I did see in their thing that they wished the Wash was speed, much like everyone else. The second place list, Isaiah Bradner, as well as the 5th and 6th place list from John and Reagan, was my testing group. I had my personal tournament report up there if you guys want to watch that real quick. And I went 6-3, so I was the unlucky sacrifice on the weekend. But our list was very consistent throughout the weekend. We opted not to play Iridas and stuff. Heavier counts of things, especially having the speed energy, so we could utilize both Yveltal and Raikou as attackers in a game. Because if you only play one colored energy that benefits either of them, then you can only use one of these attackers because they both require 3 Aurora energy. So having an option to use both is very, very good, because once you've used Yveltal, for example, your opponents a lot of the time will be like, well, he's not going to be able to use Raikou for the rest of the game, so I just need to play around Zard. Or once you use Raikou, your opponents are going to be like, well, I don't have to play around Yveltal for the rest of the game. But having speed and heat gives you the option to do both, which is really, really good towards the end of the game. Then we had Nicholas Moffitt playing Amazing Rare Rayquaza, using, I think this is an Ice Cube, I believe, with 3 Raihan. No, this is an Ice Cube. What is this? Image not available. What's happening here? Image not available. Radiant Greninja? Radiant Greninja? Yeah, I guess Radiant Greninja, yep. So Nicholas Moffitt's list has not been very different from the list he's been playing at the last couple of events. A lot of switching cards, all your typical Lost Box cards, Amazing Rare Rayquaza to top off the damage at the top end. Only 3 Lightnings, but 2 of every other energy, with 1 Wash Energy at the very end to cap off the Ice Cube block phase strategy to go into the Ice Cube with the Mirage Gate and net up your entire board, leaving yourself with a lone Ice Cube to kind of try and win against other Lost Box decks, to try to win against Reggie Gigits, to try to win against some of these single prize decks that try to do what they do. Now, the deck is still very good at the top end. It is playing 2 copies of Manaphy, which is very interesting from Nicholas, because you do play Rods already, so I think he's saying, like, hey, if my Manaphy gets Lost Citied for some reason, or one is prized, and I prize Heavy Ball, I really want to make sure that I have the Manaphy, because losing Manaphy is how I lose the game a lot of the time. So it's very interesting that he's playing 2 copies of it, and that could be a new technology as we move forward. We have 4th place Cal Connor's Lugia list, also very similar to the list we've seen so far, but sporting a 3rd copy of Lugia V-Star, as well as the same attackers we've seen across the board from everyone else. In the supporter department, we have a Bird Keeper, which we haven't seen in the 1st, 2nd, and 5th, 6th place lists, but then we also see the Wash Energy recurring here as a theme. The Wash Energy has made its way into multiple lists, so it's probably got some merit to it. And then in 7th place, we had Austin Reed's Lugia list as well. Austin playing a copy of Drapion along with the other attackers that we've already discussed. Drapion just to shore up the Mew matchup. I don't think you need it for the Mew matchup, but it is very nice to have for the Mew matchup. Playing a Bird Keeper as well as a Skyla to find those pieces like the Kitsoy Cologne and move out of paralysis. Now, Austin is very interestingly only playing the 15 energy with a big horde of captures and only 1 copy of Marnie. Every list we've seen to now only has been playing at least 2 copies of Marnie, so Austin has just gone for the more aggressive, I'm going to always research and find my way into what I need approach, and, well, it worked out for them. And then we have in 8th place Grant Hayes and his Mew VMAX list, playing a 4-3 Mew VMAX with the technology, as Xander Perot would call it, the Aerodactyl V-Star. If you go first, you can get the Aerodactyl out, use Aerodactyl's Brilliant Star, V-Star move, and then you could pretty much, or Ancient Star, sorry, Ancient Star, V-Star move, and pretty much win the game on the spot because Lugia does not get to use their abilities. V-Star, whatever, and then you just win the game from there slowly. You can use it in Mew Mirror and all these other things as well. Aerodactyl just gives you a lot of agency going first. It is a little bit of a pain to set up, especially when you have a 1/1 line that you can't really find, and if they're prized well, that's unfortunate. You have 3 copies of Judge, no copies of Marnie. Very interesting to note. 2 Boss, 1 Roxanne, and a Silene. Typical supporter package. Everything else is pretty normal up to the item cards. And then we have one Forest Sister and 1 Big Charm, which seems pretty normal across the board. No Choice Belt, and replaced with a Leafy Camo Poncho, which I believe says your VMAX or V-Star Pokemon that had this attached on your bench, like, trainer cards are not affected, like, they don't affect it. So, interesting. Don't know how much Grant actually used that throughout the tournament, but it is a very interesting tech card. 2 Lost City and 2 Path to the Peak as well as your stadiums. 2 Lost City helps you in the Regigigas matchup and other matchups in general, and 2 Path to the Peak just to have your Path Judge, your Path Roxanne. So you're kind of playing a hybrid of 2 decks with this point with the Mew list. Now let's take a look at some of the other decks in the tournament. We saw on the bubble Anthony Alvarez with a Lugia with a Green VMAX in it, as well as Ian Robb with a Palkia as normal, and Isaiah Williams with Control, all making it up here. Almost having a chance at the top 8. Remainder decks in top 16, a lot of Lugia still. We saw Rayquaza Lost Box again here. 1 Goodra making it to the top 16. Michael Burdrak notably at 11-1 at the tournament at one point, needing one win out of his remaining 3 rounds, but could not get that 1 win. We saw Manuel Soto playing a very cool control deck with Ditto. A lot of Lost Boxes that kind of hovered in the bottom of the top 32. For some reason, Lost Box keeps not being able to break into the top 8, despite having an amazing performance in day 1's conversion rate. Like a big, it always shows up and then it just does not convert for some reason. So maybe it's player skill, maybe it's just the deck. I don't know what it is, but something to keep in mind. We saw 1 Eternatus Weezing at the bottom of the top 32 and 1 Arc Duraludon at the bottom of the top 32, as well as 1 Regigigas. So we saw some variety, but then all the fun decks kind of started petering down towards the bottom. In this massive 153-man day 2. I don't think there's anything crazy to write home about in this day 2. Nothing where I'm like, well, this is a deck that needs to be considered. We did see a Kyurem Palkia make it in at 98th, and we saw some Vikavolt make their way into the tournament, into the day 2 as well. So that's, I guess, something to think about. I think Bruno was the only person who played the Lost Zone Flying Pika Box that kind of got them into this top day 2's position, but did not convert very well. And then we saw, I guess not too much crazy. Just looking at percentages, we can see that 53 of the decks were Lugia, which is 35%. Lost Zone box was 13%. I think that includes Goodra. Oh, no, it doesn't include Goodra, but it includes all the other variants, Rayquaza, regular Lost Zone box, whatever. And then we had Goodra, which had 14. So if you combine the two, it's 21% or 22% Lost box. And then Mew made the 3rd most decks. And then Arceus, Regis. A lot of the Regis did not do very well, even though Regis made it there. So important to note as you're moving forward in a tournament structure. But yeah, nothing crazy. But hopefully this helps you guys think about the format for a little bit longer. We're going into OCIC, which is going to be a tournament of superhumans. Our best players in the world will be there. Then Australia duking it out in about a week. So hope you guys check out that. I'll have a primer for that sometime this week as I'm heading out. So check that out, and I will see you guys there.